This is a video that I've been postponing for quite some time now. Ever since I saw Linus's video about it, I have been coming up with excuses not to do it. I don't have time, I'm a YouTuber, so it's blasphemy, I don't have the equipment, it's going to make my network slower, you name it, I've tried it, but it has now run out. I now have to do this for my own sanity. So, what is it that I have been postponing? Well, this. And I'm not talking about this specific Raspberry Pi, but more what we're going to use it for going forward. I bought this Raspberry Pi back in 2012 when Element 14 started selling them publicly for the first time. I'm not sure if this is part of the first batch, but it's not very far. It's a couple of months after they publicly released it for the first time, but I haven't checked the serial number on it, to be honest. Over the years, this one has had many use cases. It's been an XBMC client, it's been an IR to RF converter, and it's done some file servers and some stuff. But due to it being the Raspberry Pi 1 Model B, it has some hardware limitations that the first ones had. Back when they were released, they were, not state-of-the-art, but they were very, very good. It's a bit rattly this case, I'm sorry about that. But as I said, none of the use cases really stuck around because I always found more powerful hardware to do the same job. So, you know, eventually it's just been sitting here, and I've kept it more out of sentimental value, it being one of the first ones, possibly. So that's why I still have it. Today, that's going to change. It's going to get a new life, a new purpose in life, and it's going to be a purpose that will bring joy to me and my family and friends and, you know, whoever drops by and uses my Wi-Fi. So that brings us to exactly what we're going to use it for. This little puppy is going to be a network-wide ad blocker. To be honest, this project came to life again because of the human malware situation that we now have. We spend more time in front of the TV with the twins that refuse to watch anything but YouTube. But for some unknown reason, they don't find me entertaining enough. Neither do they understand very much English, so that could also have something to do about it. But nevertheless, that means I'm stuck watching ads with them. Little disclaimer here before we go ahead and you know, do our thing. This will not stop Facebook, Instagram, possibly Twitter, and YouTube ads. Because they come from the same address as the content, they cannot be blocked. And I know guys, thus defeating the point of the entire thing, but there is hope that in the future they will be able to fix that problem. Right, let's set up the software first.
Because I heard them first, I said, hold on.
First.
Seems awfully breezy in here. Cease that rustling. Slight pause whilst I adjust my accoutrements.
The software first, and then we're going to plug it into the network and configure my router to send all the DNS traffic to this one. And yes, I know, this only has a 100 megabit network interface, and for many of you, you don't even think about that. I have a 300 megabit internet connection to my home, but this will not slow it down. It will actually speed up the overall feel of the network because not all traffic travel through this. Only the DNS requests get sent to this device and gets handled and sent back out. That is a minuscule amount. The loads on this will be very, very low, and you won't even feel it on the network. As I said, it'll feel faster actually. For this project, we're going to need a Raspberry Pi, an SD card, a micro USB cable, and a wall wart. Any old cell phone charger should do, as they usually do provide enough current for this little machine. To set this up, we are going to need a Raspberry Pi image. You can use a couple of different ones with the PiHOLE, but we are going to use Raspbian as it is Debian based, and it works well. I've headed over to raspberrypi.org/downloads, and I've downloaded the Raspberry Pi Imager for Windows. You can select whichever operating system you are running. All right, and when that's installed, we go ahead and choose Raspbian and we choose the SD card. Yours might look a little bit different than mine, but I'm going to select this and then we're going to click write. I've already set this up once, so I don't want to overwrite it, but basically it'll just run through and do its job, and once it's complete, we can unplug the SD card and slot it into our Raspberry Pi. For the initial setup of the Raspberry, you need a monitor, keyboard and mouse connected. Also, networking is a requirement. I'm just using my projector screen to make it easier for you guys to see, as I do not have a capture card that will do the job. First boot up will take some time, of course. Once this is up and running, we will set it up with a remote access and no graphical interface to help ease the strain on the system. This is because I'm using a Model B. If you're using a later model Raspberry, you will probably get away without having to do this. As you can see, this is painstakingly slow. That is one of the caveats with using older hardware. But as I've said many times, it is not something that will affect my network speed or the general use of this system on a day-to-day basis. Let's go ahead and run through the first initial setup. So that took ages, but the system is now up to date and we can finish the initial setup. Right, so let's head up to the menu and go into the preferences, Raspberry Pi configuration. Okay, so host name, first of all, we want it to say PiHOLE. I know, it's weird, but that's what it's called. We do not want it to boot to a desktop. We want it to boot into a shell, which is always nice. Yeah, we can auto log in. Well, no, we don't want that. Network at boot, wait for network. That's always nice. Since this is going to be our DNS. Display doesn't matter. Interfaces. This one is important. We will need SSH. You can set up VNC if you want. Of course, that requires a graphical user interface instead of a shell. But, you know, if you are running a later model Raspberry Pi, that shouldn't be a problem. Right, since this is the low end, we are going to go here and boost it a bit. I'm going to set it to cool 950 megahertz. And let's click OK. Now, mind you, I'm setting the overclock to 950 megahertz because it is being actively cooled. There is a fan blowing air into the system where I'm installing it. That is why. Remember, if you do the same, check your temperatures and adjust accordingly. Okay, so let's go ahead and reboot now. We are rebooted into only the shell, and we are now ready to install it in its permanent place in my server rack. So let's head over there. I do apologize in advance for all the noise that are in there, but servers are noisy. But yeah, let's head over. All right, here it is. It's a bit noisy, as I said. We are going to be installing this puppy on the back side of that. So let's pull that a bit out so we can fit in the back. Okay, it's going to be a bit of a tight squeeze. Hopefully I can capture what I need. I'm going to turn the lights on. It's blue lights, I'm sorry, but it's the only LED strips that I had available. Okay, so here we are at the back of my server rack. Looks really cool with the blue lights, yeah. Let's put this puppy in. Okay, so where I'm going to place it, I'm going to show you guys. As I said, it is being actively cooled only because I'm placing it upside down on this 1U server, which is my switch at the moment. This is my Pfsense switch. It's an old 1U server that just runs this, and it does it great. But this is the exhaust fan. It's rather cold air coming out here, so I'm going to put it upside down here, and it'll be actively cooled as such. It's kind of hard to see in this light, but there it is upside down. It is currently booting, so let's head over to my computer and SSH into it and install the software that we need. Okay, so this is the software that we are going to use to turn this little Raspberry Pi into a network-wide ad blocker. It's called PiHOLE, and that's why we called it that in the setup. So all we have to do is go into PiHOLE.net and do the install PiHOLE and copy this little text here. This is all we need. But first, let's connect to it. So the IP of it is 192.168.1.210. And yes, we trust it. Write down as pi. Okay, so we copy this and right click in PuTTY to paste, and this should run us through the installation process. Okay, so we can continue. This is a very important step. I've already set this up, but basically go into your network router and set a static IP address for this device. If you are unsure of how to do this, please Google that and set this to 1.1.1.1. Click OK. Yes. We will have all the lists. And yes, both of them. And this is absolutely correct. It is possible your router could still be trying to assign this IP to, yeah, that's no problem. Yes, we would like that. Yes, we would like that. Yes. Okay. So basically, yes, yes, yes. Okay. The install has now finished. As you see, we have our admin interface IP and everything here. So let's go ahead and head over to that. There we are. Here we have our statistics, which is very nice. It's got 127,954 domains on the block list. Okay, let's go into our network. As you can see, it is finding a lot of stuff, but there is nothing that is using the PiHOLE. That's because we haven't set it up as the primary DNS for our network. So let's head over and do that now. Okay, so to do this in Pfsense, you go into your services and your DHCP server. That should be the same no matter what router you are using. It's as long as we are doing it on the local area network, it should be under your DHCP server, which is the server that handles the IP table or the IP assigning of your local area network. As you can see down here, it says DNS servers. I'm going to type in 192.168.1.210 for this and save the configuration. That is now done, and we should see a different statistics showing here in just a while. Let's go to CMD or command prompt on the PC and just force the change. So ipconfig/flush DNS. Running the ipconfig/all reveals that our DNS server has been pushed from the switch to my PC. And we should now be able to see some activity. Here we go. My PC is now using the PiHOLE, and the dashboard should reveal 3 clients currently using it. Queries blocked 0. Let's open speedtest.net. This page is notorious for having tons of ads, but as you can see, there are none. Now our PiHOLE has blocked 7 queries just from that site. That is not bad at all. Okay, so if you do not want to set this, if you do not want this to affect the entire network that you have, or if you do not have the ability to change the DNS in your switch, you can do it via mobile. What you have to do is head over to settings, go to connections. These settings are only relevant for Android. If you have iOS, you will have to Google how to do that. I'm not sure how that works. Head over to Wi-Fi and head over to the settings tab of the connected Wi-Fi. There we go, and we go to advanced. Since I am using a static IP on my phone, I'll have to go ahead and go 192.168.1.210 for this connection. If you do not use static IP for your device, it will pick up the change if you disconnect and reconnect your Wi-Fi. But as I said, this should now only be enabled on my device. If you are unable to set for your entire LAN network, you could do this and still get away with no ads on your phone. If I open up speedtest.net on my mobile phone, of course, I will have to enable desktop site. We can see that there are no ads on my phone either. And we've blocked about 20 queries in the short time it's already been running. There you have it, guys. A very, very cheap and effective way of getting rid of a lot of network traffic, unnecessary network traffic that is, which is ads, basically. There is hope in the future that they will be able to remove YouTube ads as well, as that can be done through a browser plugin. I can only imagine that it would be something that should be doable. But again, I'm not the expert here. So yeah, let's hope. As I said, it is a very, very effective way. It's also a very cheap way of doing it. If you already have this sort of hardware laying around, then it's very easy. This could be done off any Linux computer, to be honest, or any computer that is capable of running Debian. It doesn't need a lot of specs at all. If I can run it on the Model B, then you can run it on pretty much anything. If you want to check out Raspberry Pis, you can find them on Amazon for $40. It's a rather cheap solution to do a lot. If you like this kind of videos, please do leave a like. And yeah, consider subscribing if you want to see more. Up next, I do believe we have a UPS that needs some TLC, but there might be some gaming in between. Who knows? It's a gaming channel after all. Alright guys, remember, stay home, stay safe, clean your hands, wipe your butts and all that. Goodbye.